I was hacked. You get a call from your 65-year-old Aunt Cletus, and she says, "Don't reply to that message on Facebook. I didn't send it. Someone hacked my account." Now, you might be wondering, how did this happen? Did the attacker break into Facebook's server and then, fumble about and compromise your Aunt Cletus's account? Well, no, let's think about that. Because if I could break into Facebook's server and compromise an account, I'm sure as hell not gonna go after your Aunt Cletus. Because, there are bigger fish in the sea. And if I were breaking into Facebook servers, I would do something that actually earned me some money. So how does this happen? Well, there are two ways that this type of thing usually occurs, and we're going to break down both of those for you, and also how you can protect yourself from similar attacks. My name is Patrick. I make cybersecurity videos on a weekly basis, and if you're wanting to learn more about cybersecurity or just curious about the subject, I would love it if you could leave me a like and subscribe down below. Alright, so how did this happen? Like I said, there's two main ways. First, someone might use the same password for everything, and that's very common. The thing is, the average person has dozens of accounts across all different service providers, and if you use the same password for every single one, the fact of the matter is, one day, one of those sites is going to be compromised. And when that happens, your password might be cracked. Yes, your super secure HackerMan69 password. Yes, it's going to get cracked eventually. So what happens after that is the attackers understand that people use the same password for everything. And so what they're going to do is take that username and that password and try it across all the sites that you might have an account with. So you might be thinking, well, this can get a lot more dangerous than just my Facebook account. What about my bank? And you would be right. So this is something that we really need to take seriously. People often say, I don't have anything worth stealing, so I don't care. And that is both selfish and stupid. Let me explain why. Let's say your account gets hacked, and someone reaches out to your grandma through your account saying that they need money, and your grandma is going to help you because she loves you. Well, now that attacker has scammed your grandma because of you and your selfishness. You also might say, well, I don't have anything to hide. And answer me this. When you use the bathroom, you close the door? Yeah? Are you trying to hide something? I didn't think so. But the fact of the matter is, privacy is a prerequisite for dignity. And so you should be worried about your online privacy, and you shouldn't be so laissez-faire about your security. Alright, so the way that you can protect yourself against that type of attack is to use a different password for every website you sign up to. Now, let's pump the brakes there, because that's not how the human mind works. The human mind is not built to remember a bunch of random different passwords for dozens of accounts. That's just not how our minds work. And so the best thing you can do is use a password manager. I personally use 1Password. This is not sponsored. I do not take sponsors. But the thing is, if you use a password manager, then you get something really magical. Because in cybersecurity, we often say there's a sliding scale. And at one end of the scale, things are really easy to get access to. And at the other end of the scale, things are really secure. But a password manager is one of those rare circumstances where you get to have your cake and eat it too. Because it's easier, because it fills the passwords in automatically for you, and it's safer because you have random unique passwords. Alright, so the second way this type of thing can happen. Let's say you're trying to edit a PDF and you want Adobe Acrobat. Now, don't edit PDFs, that's not what PDFs are made for. But nonetheless, you don't want to pay for Adobe Acrobat, which, fair. But so you go onto a sketchy site and you download a copy that's cracked. Now you install that cracked copy of Adobe Acrobat. It might even work. It might even do what you wanted it to do. But it's going to do a little something extra. So there's a couple ways that this happens. One way is that the Adobe Acrobat cracked program with a little extra something in it will steal all the passwords that you have saved in Chrome or Edge. Another way that this can happen is by the program stealing your session cookies. Now, I'm going to get into the weeds here a little bit, but bear with me, it's not that complicated. Session cookies are basically little text strings that signify to a website that you're logged in to your account. If I take that string of text out of your web browser and put it in my web browser, now I can go straight into the account and I don't have to know the password. I don't have to have the two-factor authentication. So that's really dangerous, and that's a very real type of attack that happens on a daily basis these days. So how do you avoid this? Well, don't download random shit. Let me say it again. Don't download random shit. And you see, this you can avoid all of this by just using some common sense. And when you see a pop-up on your computer that's saying, "Hey, I want admin access to do this thing," don't just hit yes. Step back, pause, look at it, think about it. Did you expect for this to happen? Does it make sense that this thing needs admin access to your computer? Don't I see a lot of people when they get a pop-up on their computer, they just try to hit yes to get it to go away as quickly as possible. And that's not what it's designed for. You're supposed to read it. And, I think a lot of that quick behavior stems from the idea that people assume that computers are inherently complicated. And so when they see something they don't immediately understand, they default to going, I don't understand that. Let's just hit yes. That's dangerous. And you really should be paying attention to those pop ups asking for administrator access. You should be asking, does this make sense? And maybe you should hit no more often. So, this is not so much cybersecurity or technical knowledge. This is reading comprehension and common sense, which the vast majority of people, I hope, have. And so, at the end of the day, what you need to do to keep yourself safe is use a password manager with a random password for every website and avoid installing something on your computer that is not from a trusted developer that you're aware of and from the legitimate source. If you can do those two things, your odds of ending up like Aunt Cletus are drastically lower. Anyway, thank you for watching. My name was Patrick. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you want to see more like this, consider subscribing. And if you liked this video, then like the video. If you have questions for me, leave a comment. I try to respond to all of my comments because I don't get a lot of views. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one.